Welcome back to the Breaker Rose, and this is our instant reaction to the 39-34 loss to the Bills. And that one was a tough one at the end. Seemed like it started off really well for the offense, at least. They were playing really well all the way through the first half. Didn't seem like they had the ball that much in the third quarter, because it was looking like towards the end of the third quarter, the Bills were about to go up, and then they fumbled in the end zone, or the ball squirted into the end zone. The Bengals got the ball back, and they scored after that, and it felt pretty good. And then it was pretty much downhill after that pick six. So
yeah. I mean, I thought it was downhill before then. I mean, I think when Josh Allen ran it in untouched, I knew that the season was effectively over. I feel like with this season, it's pretty much been, just the continuous failure of the defense. And I guess we have to blame Al Golden for it, for fixing the just Swiss cheese nature of it. I mean, it's really just kind of completely wrecked the team's potential for the entire year. I mean, we have another wasted season of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. It just does not matter how good they play. The defense will figure out a way to lose the game. And I just feel like that's been the story now for what, 2 seasons? I mean, the past 2 seasons for sure, right?
yeah, and with the way the defense has been playing, there's really no margin for error on the offense. So when they do have those turnovers, the back-to-back interceptions, it makes it extremely difficult for them to come back. But they got the ball, I think, with 3 minutes left or 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they scored in like a minute and a half. So it's like, I was kind of confused why they didn't go for the onside kick, because it's like, the defense at that point wasn't really stopping anything.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, it's like,
especially
when you play Madden, right? Like, some people just put down the controller when they're on defense because it doesn't matter what you do, the other person's going to score.
Well, with the snow, you would think that would be a good time to try an onside kick. I mean, they've done it 3 times this year, I think, or 2 times. And I think,
yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think you're dead on. I think they needed to go for an onside kick. I don't understand. You know what I mean? Like, the season's over now, right?
pretty much, I think the Steelers won. So that was like, with the Bengals losing and the Steelers winning, it makes it virtually impossible for the Bengals to come back now, I think.
Yeah. But I mean, so like, you have your whole season and you've had like 90% of that game to see how the defense was playing. And you're like, oh, we're going to rely on our defense to win this game for us. I mean, that's just poor analytical ability. You have to go for the onside kick, right? There's no other way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, I guess it's been a big question mark with Trey Hendrickson, but I don't really see him coming back at all at this point. Because, I mean, if they're not going to make the playoffs, then it seems like that's what they were holding out for, potentially making the playoffs, and then maybe he would come back. Because I think the last I heard, he had a sports hernia, and I feel like that takes several months to come back from. Okay. So it would be like playoff time for him potentially to come back. But then I look at players like T. Higgins, man, they probably need to send him out next game. It seemed like he was, for whatever reason, every other catch attempt he went for, he was hitting the back of his head. You could tell he was, it's weird how they talk about concussions and player safety, and it's pretty clearly that he was suffering signs from the concussion from the Patriots game, and he hit the back of his head like 3 times. I'm like, my God, like, how long are they gonna keep him out there? But he did score that last touchdown, I believe. He had like a one-handed catch, which was pretty awesome. But
yeah,
I feel like at this point, I mean, his safety is probably more important than anything else. But I mean, really, the silver lining for me Like you said,
Silver linings.
Well, I mean, I don't see how Zach Taylor can keep his job after this. So
Taylor
I
gotta
hope,
go.
yeah, I hope they make some changes and some significant changes in the offseason, starting with the head coach. And hopefully they can bring in maybe more of a defensive minded guy like we were talking about.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
the
guess
offense
maybe
will be
next time
fine.
we do like a preview, we should make a coaching hot board, like how the
Yeah.
college fans do. They make a list of their like top so many coaches they want to go after.
My guess would be if they did do or decide to go that route, it would be that defensive coordinator for the Rams. Like, just seems like, because I think it's that Shula. I could be wrong. Maybe I got the name right, but he comes from like, I guess, a family tree of coaches or whatever, and
Well, we've already had a Tula.
maybe I'm thinking the wrong name, but I think he's having a pretty good year. But it kind of goes to what you were saying early on, is that they don't really hire head coaches with experience.
No, they don't like the coaches with experience. You have to pay for them.
So, yeah, I think that's got to change. I think if they really want to take the step forward, because they have enough talent on offense to be able to turn it around next year, but you got to get someone to come in and fix the defense.
Yeah. We should Google that.
Google that. Are you looking for like the top head coaches?
Just no, not that. That's future. I'm just curious what they've done in the past. Okay, so here we go. Let me share my screen here. Boop. All right, so we got Paul Brown. So the founder of the team, he was the head coach of the Browns before he came to the Bengals. So Bill Johnson, I don't know about him. Homer Rice, Forrest Gregg. I don't think Sam Weish was a head coach before he came with the Bengals. Dave Shula, I think he was a coordinator or a college coach. Bruce Coslett was a defensive coordinator. I'm sorry, offensive coordinator before he became the Bengals head coach. Dick LeBeau was a defensive coordinator before he became the Bengals head coach. Marvin Lewis, defensive coordinator. Zach Taylor, offensive coordinator, right?
He wasn't even an offensive coordinator. He was the quarterback's coach.
He was a quarterback's coach? I thought he was the offensive coordinator for the Rams. He just didn't call the plays because McVay calls his own plays, but I think he was still a coordinator. But either way, definitely not like someone with like head coaching experience.
Yeah, I did look it up though. The defensive coordinator for the Rams is Chris Shula. So
okay, well, I mean, I don't know if Dave Shula would come back, or I'm sorry, I don't know if based on Dave Shula's experience that Chris Shula would choose to be with the Bengals or not. I mean, who knows, right?
I guess another little side note I've kind of noticed is that I never really see our defensive tackles jump for the ball when it's passed.
Yeah,
I would like to see that a little bit more often because, I mean, that's what caused one of the turnovers against Burrow. But I think with the Bills' defensive tackles, they're pretty tall. In general, it seems like all of their defensive tackles are like 6'5". But yeah, I kind of thought of that. I wish they would do a little bit more because there was a few other plays where I think they scored touchdowns when Josh Allen was scrambling, and it was just like, if you're not going to get to him, at least try to jump up and affect the ball or the trajectory of where the pass is going. That's usually how you can get some interceptions, especially in the red zone when everything is tighter. And then I also thought there were several penalties that they called against the Bengals that were pretty ticky-tack.
Yeah.
I think the one on Dax Hill was pretty bad. I think the one on there was one early on that was really bad. I'm trying to see if I wrote it. Oh, the roughing the passer that they called on Osai. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the way the defense is playing, they could never have won that game.
Or was it unnecessary roughness? Because I think technically you have to be in the pocket for it to be roughing the passer, right?
I think they called it roughing the passer on the
But he was
broadcast.
definitely outside of the pocket because he was running towards the sideline and he threw it. And as soon as he threw it, he got hit. And I'm like, what do you want Osai to do? Just like pause mid jump?
Pause mid jump and stop in the snow. No sliding.
Yeah, I was like, are you serious? Like, I don't know. There was like several penalties that were called throughout the game where I was just like, really? Like, are you just trying?
Yeah, but I mean, like,
game getting out of hand. It felt like
they could not cover tight ends again. The
Yeah.
linebackers, like, Carter always seems to miss a tackle, and then who's the other linebacker that we drafted this year?
Knight.
Huh?
Knight.
Yeah,
Junior?
Knight. I'm just waiting for him to make a tackle within like 8 yards of the line of scrimmage. It seems like he's great at tackling and touching guys like 9 yards away from the line of scrimmage. I don't think that's his job. I think his job is to like tackle running backs within a yard or two of their line of scrimmage. I mean, he seems to play linebacker like he's a safety. I don't know. It's just they're just so bad. I mean, they can't cover tight ends. They can't tackle running backs. I mean, they're just awful.
Yeah, I felt like there was 3 plays where like the tight ends got like 30 yards or something. It was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But it was like they did everything else well on the play, but actually covered the tight end.
Right. I mean, and they've been bad for the longest time at guarding tight ends. And it just seems like teams have really figured it out now that like, hey, just throw it to the tight end. It was just so bad because it was just so easy for them to scheme up plays. It's just like, oh, just like get the tight end one-on-one and it'll be wide open.
Yeah, I want to say like pretty much one of the plays. Well, I think it was before the Bengals scored their touchdown, but the Bills went up by 10 points. There was a nice play design where they had the running back basically come out of the line of through the lineman, and then he ran towards the left that pulled the linebacker out, which basically opened up the tight end. But it all goes back to like I feel like this team would really benefit with a head coach that's more defensive minded. Because now like Joe Burrow has probably learned as much as he can from Zach Taylor, and I'm sure there's things he can take or can continue to do. I think he can pretty much run the offense by himself. Not necessarily by himself, but he probably doesn't need that much help in the way
I mean, you just hire a good offensive coordinator. I'm sure there are lots of guys that would want to work with Joe Burrow. But I mean, yeah, I think you need to start over with the coaching staff. I mean, really, if it were me, I would just clean house. I would just focus on hiring a GM and then go from there, right? Have the GM bring in a coach that they want, right? But I mean, on the point of tight ends, right? Dawson Knox had 93 yards. Dalton Kincaid had 41 yards and a touchdown. And then Jackson Hawes had 3 yards and a touchdown. So, I mean.
Yeah, it's brutal. Brutal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was weird because
I mean, really, like the James Cook fumble really kept them in the game. I mean, that was, basically 7 points, unless the Bills won at 8.
Yeah, no, I think really what it comes down to is that pick six. I mean, had he not thrown that pick six, Burrow, because I think they were still up by 3 points at that point, and they were at like the 20-yard line. So like that was a really big swing, changed the momentum drastically.
Yeah.
Because like it looked like they were about to score, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown, and I think there would have been maybe 5 minutes left around that range. But yeah, it was just like the wheels completely fell off. Like with 5 minutes left in the game, and but I think that's just all the pressure that's put on the offense and the way they run their offense. they're really relying on the passing game. So like overall had a really good game, but he did have several drops. Like the first possession they had in the second half, he catches that ball, then they don't go 3 and out, and that kind of affects the game a little bit, because
Yeah.
then, like I said, it felt like pretty much the Bills had the ball pretty much all third quarter,
Hmm.
and it looked like, well, outside of that opening drive on the second half, like the Bengals offense was kind of having their way with the Bills defense.
Yeah, they were hot. I mean, but they scored 34. I mean, it's just another game where, like, I just feel like if the Bengals would have scored 45, the Bills would have scored 50.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, it was progressively getting worse throughout the game. It seemed like I said, there were a few calls that I thought were kind of suspect because they get that sack. I
Hmm.
feel like this was in like early in the fourth quarter, and then right after that, they call that passer interference on
Yeah, but that's been the story of the Bengals defense all year. It's like they
yeah,
make a big play, and then like
shoot themselves
a
in the foot.
normal defense, if you get a team in like 2nd and 16, you're going to get off the field, and the Bengals just give it up in 2 plays or 1 play. It
Yeah,
just seems like time and time again. They have to be like the worst team at like 2nd and 19 or 2nd and 15 and more.
no, I do agree with that. That's been pretty consistent throughout the year. That was especially early on, like the first 2 or 3 games. It felt like they would have these long drives that they would
Mhm.
give up, and that would essentially wear them out. But it would be like they would have a good play, like you said, but then they would have like a holding or some type of penalty. Now, like I said, some of them seem kind of ticky tack. I don't know. I wouldn't call that passer interference on DJ Turner. It was like second and like I don't even think the ball was catchable. It's like one of those things. And then also that the receiver was pushing off of him as much as he was pushing on. So it was just like,
Yeah, the receiver two-hand shoved him in the chest, and he just grabbed his arm so he didn't fall down.
yeah. But it was like, had he not done anything, I don't think he was going to catch the ball anyways. So I don't know.
Right.
It's kind of like when they called that passer interference on Cam Taylor Britt. And it was just
Which
like,
one?
huh?
Which one?
This was like 3 weeks ago. It was just like the guy pushed off of him, but then they called it on us. I'm like, what? And it didn't even
Yeah.
seem like catchable. And then I think he actually got
Yeah,
hurt on that
I
play.
just think that that's a flaw with football in general, like
Well,
in
that's
college and in the NFL. It's just there's too much pass interference.
too many.
They call it like the Bengals got one where the ball it was just a bad throw, and
Yeah, but that's
Yoshimasa
that's
just
passer.
stopped.
Yeah, but that's passer interference because the cornerback didn't make an attempt to like actually look for the ball, and he
But
ran
the
into the
quarterback
guy.
didn't know the ball was coming. The guy just stopped.
Right, but that's part of being an athlete. Like that. I mean, I get that. Like you got to be smarter
I
than
just
that.
feel like the offense shouldn't benefit from a bad throw. Like I hate the every time you should throw a back shoulder pass, it's called pass interference because the receiver just stops running, and then of course the corner's gonna bump into him because he's running full speed and he doesn't know the guy's gonna stop.
Yeah,
It's just, I mean, I know. I mean, it's an offensive league. They like passing stats, so they like to favor the offense. But I just feel like that's fine. And then you'll get like 1,000 cheap pass interferences called, and then there will be one really obvious one that they don't call, and then you're just like, well, what's going on? Like, I just feel like too much ref. It's just whether you like it or not, right? Like my take on it is just that if they show the refs so much, like that's not why people are paying money to watch football games.
what was the
Not to
spread
see
on
the
this game?
refs.
I think it was like 7 points. I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's stuff like that. That to your point, where it's not very consistent with calling. That always makes me feel like they're just trying to shave points or keep it close to keep it
Yeah.
within or around the spread, and it
Yeah.
just gets really fishy after a while. It's just like there's really no consistency whatsoever.
Of course, right? Yeah. I mean, there's got to be all kinds of things going on that, like, you know, that are either just straight up cheating or just incompetence looking like cheating, and then, you know, somebody's going to cheat because they can, because like they accept just absolute terrible and inconsistent referee play, that like it would be so easy for the NFL to do whatever they wanted to do.
Well, if anything, this should be the year where if Josh Allen is going to do anything in the playoffs, it should be this year, because it seems like the whole AFC is kind of down. So if he doesn't do anything in the playoffs, then um, I don't know how you can continue to call him an elite quarterback. Can't do anything in the playoffs. So, but I guess at least he
I
makes.
don't know. I mean, if some of those Bills losses in the playoffs like were not his fault, it was like exactly like the Joe Burrow situation where it's just like you can only do so much. They were up by like a touchdown against the Chiefs with like 10 seconds left, and their defense gave up a touchdown in like 13 seconds or something absurd. So I think Josh Allen's elite. I mean, and the other thing about this game is that I think comparing this game and last game, like to me, it's clear that like Lamar Jackson's hurt or something. He should have lit up this defense. Like normal Lamar Jackson would lit up this defense.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on because he didn't look that good against the Steelers today either.
Yeah.
But the only thing I'll say about Josh Allen is I feel like what takes it away from me, and like, yeah, I guess he's obviously in the top 10 or top half of the top 10, whatever you want to call it. But I feel like he relies too much on his legs. Because as soon as he loses a step, and then when he's really going to have to rely on his arm, because the Bengals, that was another thing. The Bengals should have had 2 interceptions, but they dropped the ball. I just don't think he's that great of a passer when it comes down to it. Like if he has to pass, he's going to be in trouble. But what makes him a wild card is that he does have that threat to run.
I don't know. I mean, the counter argument to that is it would be nice if he had a good receiver. Like the Bills receivers are just, they're not, there's no number one receiver on that team. They're making do with like 2s and 3s.
Yeah, I guess, but then he has always had a good offensive line and a good run game, it feels like, which also helps out the quarterback a lot.
That helps out the quarterback, but I mean, you know, Burrow's playing with Higgins and Chase, and they've got Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman. Those guys wouldn't even play for the Bengals.
Well, they have a pretty decent tight end.
Just saying. I mean, you know, I think he'd do better if he had actually a good receiver. I mean, they were pretty good when they had.
I guess my only argument against that would be, yeah, in theory, if you had an offense like the Bengals, it should be easy, but you still have to be able to read defenses and make the right passes. And I think that's harder. It's easier said than done. And, you know, like, I think Browning and at times.
Okay. Well, we'll just disagree. I'm not going to say that Josh Allen's not elite. I think he's good enough guy to win a Super Bowl, carry a team and win a Super Bowl. I think that the best receiver he's played with is Stephon Diggs, who's really not that good.
Yeah, I mean, you got to play well in the playoffs, and I think he's had some bad games in the playoffs.
He's had some great games in the playoffs.
I can't think of any, but
that game against one, they ended the Patriots, right? Then the Bills stopped the Patriots that year, and then they had like, huh?
Who was their quarterback?
No, I'm thinking of the Titans. Titans ended the Patriots run. He had that one game against Patrick Mahomes where like he lit it up, and literally like they left like 10 seconds, and the Chiefs came back and won.
I feel like it's probably more than 10 seconds, but yeah, well, I guess.
I'm going to see if I can find it. Okay, if I Google and type in Bills Chiefs, I get Bills Chiefs 13 seconds.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Because I think they won by a field goal, right?
It
It had to be a field goal. There's no way they gave up.
was overtime. They scored a touchdown overtime. So they had 13 seconds, and they scored in 13 seconds to tie the game.
Yeah, but he still has a 7-6 record in the playoffs. That's not that great.
Oh, it was a field goal and in 13 seconds.
Yeah,
3 plays, 44 yards, 13 seconds. And in that game,
yeah, because he's lost to Kansas City. Bengals.
In that game, he was 27 of 37 for 329 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And he ran the ball 11 times for 68 yards in the AFC Championship game, or no, divisional playoffs, and they lost because the defense could not keep the lead for 13 seconds against the Chiefs. So I think Josh Allen's good.
Yeah, he's one of the better quarterbacks, but I still think he's slightly overrated. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I don't know how he's actually rated, but I think he's as good as Burrow.
I would have to respectfully disagree with that. Okay. I think in terms of like actually playing the quarterback position,
I think he's had a better career than Burrow.
Well, yeah, because he's been more healthy and on better teams, on overall teams.
Yeah.
I think if you give Burrow some of the defenses that the Bills have had, I think they go a lot further.
Bills have always had bad defense.
No, I think they've had some good defenses. Or at least better than what the Bengals have had.
Yeah, but the Bengals have had the absolute worst defense in the past few years. But the year that the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, the defense carried them to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say this then. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. If he can't do it this year, then I don't think there's any excuses. That's all I'm going to say.
We won't be watching the playoffs. We'll be watching highlights of college players to figure out who the Bengals should draft.
Pretty much, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think I will.
Top board.
I always say I'm not going to watch the playoffs, but then I end up watching some of the games. But yeah, usually turns into hate watching. But I mean, this is their year. I don't know. It feels like another NFC team is probably going to win it this year when it comes down to it, because it feels like the top tier teams are pretty much on the NFC side. Have more. It feels like there was a transition because it feels like the AFC like 2 or 3 years ago for like 3 or 4 years had like the top 3 or 4 teams. And now it seems like it's on the NFC side now, which is, I guess it's good. I mean, you don't want one conference to be better than the other one, but in terms of like team structure, it just feels like the NFC has like teams that actually have good defenses and offenses on the same team, to whereas it's like the Chiefs, the Bills, they have like offenses that have to carry the defense. And then I'm trying to think, I guess the Patriots, but I don't know that the game against the Bengals showed me a lot about Drake May. I was like, I thought he was going to be pretty good, and he didn't really look that good. Kind of got me thinking, like, I don't know how well he's going to do in the playoffs because everything gets amplified. Because the Patriots kind of look like a team to me. Well, they'll probably get the bye, but I can also see them like losing in the first game that they play, just because they don't have, I guess, the veterans to be able to handle the pressure. But we'll see. I guess that's another month away, but it is what it is. It's been a tough season for the Bengals. Can't really say much other than really the silver lining should be hopefully they do a lot of changes from the top. Maybe they actually get a new GM, get a new head coach. I think that would go a long ways. And
yeah, we'll see what they do.
I just hope they break from tradition and actually hire a coach with head coach experience and actually pay some decent money for one, because I think that will go a long ways. Save some of that money that you would pay Trey Hendrickson and put it towards a coach.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I guess it really doesn't work that way because
no. I mean, you should actually just pay a coach.
well, I think they're at the point where they should be willing to pay around 10 million a year, and I think you should be able to get a solid head coach
Yeah, you
salary.
just need to go get a guy that can coach.
I don't know. I still like the Flores guy. I feel like he would really change the defense. And
Yeah, he would change the defense, but I mean, he did not do great in Miami. So, I mean, that team kind of turned on him at the end of his tenure. So, I don't know. The NFL would like it, I think, if the Bengals would hire him. I think he might be suing them.
No, I
Yeah,
think it's been
like,
settled.
oh, it got settled.
I think so because I don't think he'd be coaching right now if he was still suing them. I think that would be like,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
I guess the only exception I would say in terms of like an offensive or offensive minded head coach, Gruden, if that's a possibility. But
Yeah, I'm not on board with you on the whole. You need offensive minded head coach or a defensive minded head coach. I'm more on the just get the best coach you can get. You know,
yeah, that's fair.
you can win either way. Because I mean, it's more of a leadership thing, I think, than a.
No, I agree. Yeah,
And maybe not even leadership. It's just like
a really good head coach knows how to structure things.
Right, the structure to win, not structure to score points.
Get the right people in the right places, and I feel like with the Bengals ever since with Zach Taylor, yeah, the offense has looked good for sure, but the defense has always been really suspect. And the years that the defense kind of looked good, they were really turnover reliant. That's what kind of kept them in a lot of games, is getting some key turnovers. But
yeah, I don't know. I liked our former defensive coordinator. I didn't think it was his fault that the team had no defensive tackles at the beginning of the year. I mean, that is just a failure of the general manager that they didn't have any NFL caliber defensive tackles on the entire roster to start the season 2 years ago. I mean, you shouldn't fire the defensive coordinator for that. You should fire the GM.
Yeah, it might be coming. I mean, I feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. I think I missed a few comments.
Oh,
it's time for Zach to go, man. Yeah, no, I've been saying that for the last couple of years. Oh yeah, no, I think we're in agreement. I think it's definitely start with the GM and head coach, and then just restructure everything. Bring in a really good pair in terms of a head coach and GM. Get on the same page. Draft the players that will fill the specific roles that you're looking for. Because I think with the Bengals offense, I mean, it should be kind of like the Patriots. You should be able to turn it around fairly quickly with 1 year with how elite the offense looks. And then, I would even look into, I know the run game has looked better the last couple of, I want to say 3 or 4 weeks, with the exception of today. The run game didn't look good at all, but that could have been more with the snow. But I don't know. It's interesting because like I like Chase Brown, but I don't know. Like, I think that's why they kind of relied on P. Ryan in this game on a few carries. Is that
I think the P. Ryan, Chase Brown, I like those two as backs.
Yeah, but I think of like.
I mean, P. Ryan's averaging like over 5 yards a carry this year, like something crazy for him.
Remind me to learn how to pick the right players and stop getting rid of the good ones. Yeah, I mean, trying to think, what are some of the good players that we lost? I know Bates is like the obvious one.
Yeah, on defense. I mean, pretty much anybody that's been good on defense has left, right?
Well, who was that? I'm trying to think.
Well, yeah, Bates.
But I mean, I think the
problem... Hendrickson, like the Hendrickson was not handled the best way.
Remember the Colts fired Jim Mora before getting Dungy?
Maybe. Well, I don't know. Did Jim Mora get a new job?
Draft better players, keep the good players, stop getting rid of all Get rid of them. Get rid of the shitty ones. Stop being afraid to pay good players. Yeah, I mean, well, I will give the Bengals some credit. They did pay the good players this year. They just all got hurt or were suspended. Um, but yeah, no, I think
I think it's a roster construction issue. I mean, I think that Tobin has done a good job of finding like elite players, but then like they don't build the team in the right way. And like this season again, like the offensive line's good now.
I don't think is Mike Hilton playing with anyone. Yeah, I don't know. Like I agree with Jesse Bates. Not too sure about Geno Atkins. I think he got hurt and was never really.
Geno Atkins' career ended, I think, with injury. But
I don't think Mike Hilton's playing with anyone right now, or if he is, he's like a backup. I think he may have signed with the Colts, but I don't know if he's actually playing. I could be wrong. Yeah, DJ Reader. That one I agree with.
Yeah.
But the only way I can side with the Bengals with DJ Reader was that he was coming off a pretty significant injury where he tore his one quad, and then 2 years before that he tore his other quad. So I can kind of see the hesitancy of like trying to bring him back, because during that time, I think the big thing that was going on with the Bengals was they were holding on to some of the older veteran players for too long. And that's what kind of got them in trouble. But then, I don't know, looking back, they got all younger players and they,
it's just a lot more pattern, right? Like the defense stunk 2 years ago, right? And they didn't have defensive tackles. And their plan was, we'll just draft 2 guys and those guys will play, right? And then, they didn't sign Watts, right? Like the safety's a problem. But then this year, their plan was to start 2 rookies at linebacker and like hope that it worked. I mean,
there's no way in hell Battle and Stone should be your starters. I actually thought, I agree with that generally, but I thought Stone actually had a pretty decent game today. It seemed like he was making pretty good impact plays.
He made a couple of plays today. I mean,
but he's probably not worth the money that they're paying him. Like, or he doesn't really fit with what the Bengals are actually trying to do. Like, I think he had a lot of success on Baltimore with the style of play that they normally do. But I think we're all in an agreement where if you start with the GM, head coach, you should be able to get in the right players to turn things around. Because again, with the defense, they don't have to be top 10. They just need to be top half, like top 16, top 18.
They just need to have a pulse. I mean, like they're just not competitive.
Yeah.
And it's like they have some guys who look like they can play, but then like just they can't get off the field, and it just feels like it's just a collection of random parts. Like I don't see the plan. I hope the plan wasn't, oh, we're just gonna start rookies and hope they're awesome, because that is not working, and that usually doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, and I'm not looking forward to like when they actually make the season 18 games. That's going to suck as well, especially if your team is not doing that good. Just feels like, it's like now we have 4 more games of like, okay, I mean, do we win just for morale, or should we just continue to skid a little bit to get a better draft pick?
You can't run a football team like we're just going to play for the draft. That's toxic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like baseball where like, or basketball. It's like a brutal sport. Those guys are taking years off their lives playing football.
And to be fair,
it's just to lose.
Bengals aren't technically mathematically out of it yet. I mean, they have a really maybe less than a 1% chance of making it, but a lot has to happen. They would still have to win out, and basically the Steelers would have to lose out. And I just don't really see that happening at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, such a crazy game to think about, because again, the offense looked so good in the first half, and it felt like as long as the offense had the ball, they were going to score. But then everything flipped after halftime. Bills had the ball majority of the third quarter, and then those back-to-back picks really everything fell apart after that. Just a crazy swing in momentum. At one point they were up by 10, and then I guess 10 minutes later into the game they were down by 10. So can't win like that.
No. Losing formula.
Who would you guys want to see as a head coach? Do you guys have any suggestions or any people in mind? We need a lot on defense, and we have a horrible scouting and free agency. Yeah, it seems like in terms of offseason, they either do really good or really poor. There's no in between. And it feels like the last couple of off seasons have been poor. You just need to pay for good defensive players, what they deserve, and not pay the shitty ones. Well, yeah, because I think to me the biggest shock, especially this offseason, was I expected them to let go of BJ Hill. And not to say like he's our worst defensive lineman, but I just didn't think he was worth what we paid him. But I mean, it's like we're paying players, but we're not paying the right ones. And I think too, the whole thing with Hendrickson, it's like we gave him the pay raise he was looking for. He's making over, or I guess at 30 million this year, or maybe it was 26. And then he only played 2 effective games. And
yeah, I mean, do you blame the GM, the player, or maybe the doctors? I mean, he probably shouldn't have played in that game where he re-aggravated his injury. He probably should have taken another week off. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
tried to go too soon.
No, I guess I'm more in line with, instead of paying like an elite defensive end, it'd be better to split that salary and have like 2 defensive ends that, you know what I mean, that create more depth. Because you can have some of those players where you're paying 15, 16, 18 million a year that can actually pass the rusher. And then, because I feel like the league is where you need at least 2, I would say 3 players that can consistently get to the quarterback to create that pressure. And they need to rotate. And I think the Bengals, ever since they've had Hendrickson, it's always been him to get the pressure.
Yeah, it's been just bad drafting, you know, because other teams find guys that can play a little bit, you know.
We're a run and shoot offense in a bad weather conference in city. Yeah, you have a point on that. Like, that's why I kind of like go back to like the running game. Like, I kind of want. It's like a weird situation because, like, again, I like Chase Brown. I think he can be really electric, but I think we need more of like a Corey Dillon type running back, where it's more of a bell cow, a guy that can really just move the pile and get those 5 to 6 tough yards consistently. But I don't know,
man. That's a bygone era, man. The team the Bengals just lost to, same thing. Bad weather. They've got Cook. Cook is like Chase Brown style running back.
Cook? No, Cook is he's more of a physical runner, I would say. Like, Chase is definitely more shifty than Cook, but Cook is more of like a all around
guy.
He isn't, but I mean, he's having a really good season. I think.
Yeah. I mean, Chase Brown's having a good season too.
Who is?
Chase Brown.
Yeah, but it's been split. It's partially running, but a lot of receiving.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm fine with that.
The only problem I have with it, and I think we talk about it too, is that when you pass a lot, and if you just miss a few passes here and there, it stops the clock. You go 3 and out. And it puts more pressure.
Yeah, but that's not Chase Brown's fault that they're throwing the ball too much. They could hand it off.
Yeah, and to be fair, like I said, outside of this week, the last month or so, he's been running the ball really effectively. Like, he was getting.
Yeah, I mean, just give Samaje Perine 5 more carries a game.
Bill Belichick?
I don't know.
I'm on the fence with that. What about Nick Saban? They probably couldn't afford him.
Can you guys think of an older coach that's still alive? Maybe. Can we get who's the guy from Notre Dame? Can we get him?
No, I thought you were going to say the guy from the Raiders, Pete Carroll. Maybe we can trade for him.
Oh yeah, maybe we get Pete Carroll. He's still coaching though. No,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or no, did he get fired? Isn't he coaching the
Yeah, I
Raiders
think
right
he's
now?
coaching the Raiders. I'm thinking of
We're
hmm.
built like the Colts without the pass rushers. I don't know about that because the Colts have
But without the
Caleb.
hammer safety, you know. Remember Bob Sanders?
He says Cook and Brown are similar. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's what I think.
I disagree.
I don't think the problem is the running backs they have, because if you want more power and more like between the tackles, then put Samaje Perine in and run it between the tackles. He's
See,
been
okay.
doing great.
Okay, then I'll go. Here's my counter argument with that. That's kind of like when we had Sample and what's his face as tight end a few years ago. It's like as soon as the tight end comes in, you basically know what the play is going to be. That's what I'm saying. Like,
make it obvious. I mean,
well,
Samaje Perine can still catch passes. He can block. I just think I like him as a player. He can block, so he can pass, and he can catch.
Joe Mixon back.
Well, you
Yeah,
can
I don't
probably have
know.
him.
Yeah, well,
he hasn't
yeah.
played this year.
No, he hasn't. It doesn't seem like he's coming back this year, or maybe he's going to come back for the playoffs.
He just has to live in your neighborhood.
What do you mean by that?
Just saying, you don't want to be his neighbor.
I guess.
I'm not saying. You know.
Would someone get shot?
Yes.
Well, what happened?
You know how like high school kids do Nerf wars?
Yeah.
Well, somebody staying at Joe's house didn't like that, so he shot back.
Well, did they think they had a gun or something?
Yeah, they had Nerf guns. They're running around shooting Nerf guns at each other.
Well, I mean, devil's advocate, if someone's running around your yard and you think they actually have a gun, you really shouldn't be doing that in someone else's property. That's all I'm saying. It's like you definitely wouldn't be doing that in Texas. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, well, that's probably why I moved to Texas.
But that's a good point.
I'm just saying, you know.
Can they cut Jermaine Burton already? Honestly, I don't know what's going on with that. It seems like it's headed that direction.
That's the funniest thing ever. The way they're handling it.
It's pretty sad on many different levels. Sad that we wasted a third round pick on him.
It happens. The way that they're handling it, though, is silly.
Yeah, it's just because like people know, like I did see the comment from Duke Tobin because they're like, one of the reporters was basically like, hey, what is Jermaine Burton doing essentially? And then Duke Tobin was basically nothing. He's doing absolutely nothing to change his situation. So it seems like it's a maturity thing, among other, I guess, personal issues, whether it's like gambling or whatever. It could be other things. I haven't heard other reports. The only thing I've seen is that he tends to gamble a lot, or that's what he's connected to.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about the Bills, I mean, maybe just try to trade him to the Bills for like a 7th rounder or something.
Bill Belichick will get the Bengals on their asses. I mean, I don't know. The only thing I would say about Bill Belichick is that I think his style of coaching is kind of past its time. Like, I think with the new generational players, they don't really react to that level of coaching anymore. So I think it's be like one of those things where it's either going to work really well or really
how
bad.
old is he?
He's old. I mean, he's got to be close to definitely in his 70s for sure.
73.
Yeah. Joe Mixon is your favorite. I like Joe Mixon. He was always really good in terms of like how he represented the Bengals and I guess how he treated Bengals fans. I always felt like he was very relatable.
Yeah. Well, I can tell that you haven't been around during the Joe Mixon era because I was very, very anti-Joe Mixon the whole time. From the time they drafted him until he left, I did not like him on the team.
I think his best years were probably with Lewis, just because that was more of the type of offense. Like they actually had a 50-50 split offense with Dalton, whereas now it's like it's a very pass heavy offense. And I think for defenses that play against the Bengals, they can kind of key off and see certain tendencies. That's why that's like, I don't know. Ever since Zach Taylor's been here, the rushing attack hasn't been that great. Like they definitely had their spurts of when they did well, but it's really never because everything's reliant on the pass. It's a pass first offense. The pass will set up the defense or the run. But then there's so much you got to do to have success on the offense if you pass a lot. It's very small margin of error.
But on the Bill Belichick point, it says he's 73 years. I would sign off on that. Why not?
Yeah, I think the only thing after that would just be how much money do they want?
It doesn't matter. Give it to him. It's not my money.
Well, that's true. I'm just saying, like, realistically.
It doesn't affect the salary cap. Pay him what he wants.
Well, I'm thinking the Bengals are probably going to be willing to spend $10 million a year on a coach. But if he's wanting the 15,
we could do a package deal. We could hire Belichick as the coach. We could make Jordan Hudson in charge of the Bengals.
Yeah, actually, to that point, Gesicki, he had a really good game this game for sure.
Yeah, I thought he played good against the Patriots too. Like,
yeah, I mean he's good, especially with Burrow.
I like him on third down. I mean, I think all three of his catches were for first downs,
and that's why I kind of go with like why I want more of a defensive minded head coach. I know for you it doesn't really matter that much. It's just like I think our offense is set the next 2 or 3 years.
And that's why the Bill Belichick thing fits, because he's really good at getting like the good players, and you already have your great players.
AJ Green, Tyler Boyd. We don't really need receivers though. That's the thing. I think we're in terms of receiving options, and plus they're definitely past their prime. Because AJ Green was similar to me to Geno Atkins, where I felt like they got injuries late in their career and they never really came back the same.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Boyd is just old. I think if he had something left on the tank, he would be on a team right now. Because right now, if they really wanted to pick up Tyler Boyd, they could do so. But at the same point, I mean, having Tyler Boyd would probably be better than having Burton at this point. So
that's true. He would come to practice.
Well, that, and he's much more of a leader. Like he kind of gives you that attitude.
Uh-oh, Wikipedia needs money. Professional career.
Yeah, because he only played 1 year with the Titans, and then they cut him earlier this year, or in the offseason, really. And I was actually with you. I was like, why don't they pick up Boyd? But I mean, obviously, something's not the same.
He has not done anything this year, right?
No, he got cut by the Titans in the offseason, and no one picked him up. Because I thought maybe the Bengals would potentially pick him up closer to the season, but he may have just lost a step. Because I think that was his not coming out of the college, right? Was that he wasn't the fastest receiver?
Yeah.
But he was super reliable and a great leader. Like, he's definitely one of those people that you want to have on
4.58.
That's actually, well, I mean,
it's not fast for an NFL guy.
Not for a receiver, yeah.
Right. It's fast enough to play, but not
for an average human. That's incredibly fast. But for an average receiver, that's not that good. Because I think 4.5 is like the cut. It's like you have to at least run a 4.5 if you want to be a receiver.
To be considered like fast, I think you need to run a 4.5.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's like if he ran a 4.6, there's no way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
in the 4.5s, yeah, right. Like 4.6, you got to play tight end.
Because for receivers, they usually like him in the 4.4s, and then for sure in the 4.3s, and then obviously if you can find someone that runs a 4.2, then you're cooking. But yeah, it's been a tough season. Hopefully there can be, I don't know, maybe the thing that they play for now is ending other teams' seasons. And I mean, beating Baltimore next week would be nice. So maybe just start with that.
Yeah, we think the over-under is going to be on like the last game of the season, like the January game for tickets.
Against the Browns?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what do you mean? Like how much they're going to cost, or?
Yeah, like the get-in price. You think it's like right now? I think Browns tickets you can get in for $7 is the cheapest ticket.
Oh, I think it's at the Browns too. Because they open up
I
against
don't
the Browns?
remember. I thought it was at home.
No. Because I think they got the home game against the Browns, so it should be at or in Cleveland.
Do they play the Titans this year?
Bengals, no.
I'm looking up their games. Yeah, January 4th. Doesn't that mean we host? Yeah. January 4th, Browns at Bengals.
So wait, who did we? I thought we played the Browns.
No, we played them in Cleveland because I remember they had the shooting after the game.
Oh,
My
okay.
buddy was up there.
Okay.
In the flats, someone got off a few rounds.
And you definitely keep up with your shootings.
I mean, if your friend's at a football game, he texts you, there's a bunch of shots going off.
Yeah, that's scary.
Right?
It's actually pretty scary. But yeah, I guess I don't know. Is there anything you want to add to this game? I think we can.
No, it's just sad to see the season go away.
Yeah. I think for me at this point, the silver lining is hopefully they do make the change at the head coach. As much as I like Zach Taylor as a person, I think he's a great human. But in terms of managing an overall football team, I think there's a lot to be left to be desired. So definitely it should be upgrades out there if they're willing to go that route. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they got rid of the GM and the head coach. And actually, it would make a lot of sense to do both at the same time. But we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, we appreciate the people that stop by. Thank you for your comments.
Appreciate it.
Right. Oh, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.